Have you ever felt a nagging suspicion that someone close to you isn't as warm as they seem? They smile, they say the right things, but something feels off. Beneath the surface, there's an energy you can't quite name, an unspoken tension, a subtle negativity that lingers in the air. Psychologist Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, the hidden part of ourselves that we suppress but often project onto others. When someone harbors secret resentment, envy, or even hatred, these emotions don't just vanish. Instead, they slip through in ways we often overlook. In this video, we'll uncover 8 undeniable signs that reveal if someone secretly despises you. These behaviors are often cloaked in politeness and social etiquette, making them easy to dismiss until you know exactly what to look for. And trust me, sign number 8 is the most dangerous of all, one that could completely change how you view your relationships. Before we begin, subscribe to Buddhist Mindfulness for deeper insights into human nature, mindfulness, and self-awareness. If this video resonates with you, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Sign number 1, contempt, disguised as irony, the power of sarcasm. Hidden hostility doesn't always come in the form of direct insults or confrontations. Instead, some people prefer to cloak their negativity in sarcastic jokes or biting irony. Sarcasm, when used with good intentions, can be a form of witty banter. However, when used as a tool to undermine others, it can be deeply damaging. Some individuals use sarcasm to target things that are sensitive to you: your appearance, your job, your dreams. When you react, they quickly dismiss it. Relax, I was just joking. Don't be so sensitive. This is a classic tactic of psychological manipulation. Repeated sarcasm, especially when aimed at the same personal topics over time, is not humor. It's masked hostility. People who engage in this form of sarcasm often disguise their contempt behind humor to maintain plausible deniability. They want to express their negative feelings without owning up to them. This type of behavior can be especially insidious in close relationships, friendships, and even workplace dynamics. Lisa had a childhood friend, Emma, who always made sarcastic remarks about her passion for art. When Lisa got her first painting exhibition, Emma laughed and said, "Wow, people really pay for that? Guess anyone can be an artist these days." At first, Lisa brushed it off, thinking Emma was just being her usual witty self. But over time, she realized that Emma always belittled her success in a joking manner. If Lisa received a compliment on her work, Emma would make a sarcastic comment like, "Oh, sure, because the world totally needs more paintings of flowers." Lisa began to notice that Emma rarely showed genuine support. Her sarcasm was a thin veil for her own insecurities and resentment. This is how hidden contempt operates. It erodes confidence while maintaining a facade of friendliness. When sarcasm is used maliciously, it can have serious psychological consequences. Erosion of self-esteem. Constantly being the target of sarcastic remarks can make a person doubt their abilities and worth. Emotional confusion. The contradiction between someone appearing friendly while making hurtful remarks can create cognitive dissonance. Relationship damage. Over time, repeated sarcasm fosters resentment and weakens trust in relationships. Passive-aggressive manipulation. The abuser avoids responsibility for their hurtful words by hiding behind the guise of humor. The Buddha taught the power of right speech. Words should be truthful, kind, and useful. Sarcasm that belittles others does not align with this principle. Those who use sarcasm to bring others down are fueling their own suffering, as their negativity becomes a cycle of inner turmoil. Practicing right speech involves speaking with kindness. If words do not uplift or contribute positively, they should be left unsaid. Being mindful of intent. Ask yourself whether your words come from a place of compassion or resentment. Encouraging constructive dialogue. Instead of using sarcasm, engage in honest and direct communication. How to handle sarcasm. Disguised as contempt 1. Recognize the pattern. Take note of when and how sarcasm is being used against you. If the jokes always leave you feeling small or defensive, they may not be just jokes. 2. Confront the behavior calmly. Instead of reacting emotionally, address the behavior directly. I've noticed that you often make sarcastic comments about my work. It doesn't feel like support to me. Express how their words impact you rather than attacking them personally. 3. Set boundaries. If sarcasm is a constant issue, it's okay to set clear boundaries. I appreciate humor, but I don't enjoy jokes at my expense. If they continue the behavior, it may be necessary to limit your interactions with them. 4. Don't internalize their words. Remind yourself that their sarcasm is more about them than it is about you. Surround yourself with people who genuinely uplift and support you. 5. Consider distancing yourself. If someone continuously uses sarcasm to undermine you and refuses to acknowledge their behavior, it might be best to step away from the relationship. Sarcasm is a powerful tool that can be used for both humor and harm. When used as a weapon, it can chip away at a person's confidence, self-worth, and relationships. Recognizing hidden contempt and sarcasm is the first step toward protecting yourself from its damaging effects. By embracing mindful speech and surrounding yourself with positive influences, you can cultivate healthier interactions and personal growth. Remember, words carry energy. Choose to use them wisely, both for yourself and for those around you. Sign number 2, hidden sabotage, the silent opponent. Hidden sabotage is one of the most insidious forms of opposition. Unlike direct conflict, where an opponent openly confronts you, hidden sabotage operates in the shadows. It is executed by individuals who outwardly appear supportive but secretly work against you in subtle ways. This could be a colleague who consistently provides misleading advice, a friend who downplays your achievements, or even a mentor who forgets to inform you about critical opportunities. Identifying hidden sabotage can be challenging because the acts are often disguised as innocent mistakes or unintentional oversights. However, certain patterns can reveal the truth. Misleading advice. The saboteur might offer advice that seems helpful but actually leads you away from success. They may suggest taking unnecessary risks, making poor investments, or choosing inefficient strategies. Withholding important information. This could be as simple as not forwarding an important email, failing to mention a networking opportunity, or withholding key details that could benefit you. Downplaying your achievements. They may dismiss your accomplishments as luck or coincidence. Instead of acknowledging your hard work, they subtly undermine your confidence. Creating unnecessary obstacles. This could involve spreading rumors, manipulating situations, or influencing others against you. Feigning support. They may pretend to encourage you while secretly hoping for your failure. Their words and actions don't align. David, a dedicated professional, worked hard to climb the corporate ladder. He had a coworker, Mark, who always seemed friendly and helpful. Mark often congratulated David on his successes and even offered advice. However, David began to notice a strange pattern. Before important presentations, Mark would accidentally give him the wrong meeting time. Critical emails never seemed to reach David's inbox because Mark forgot to forward them. When David sought Mark's opinion on key projects, Mark would suggest unnecessary, time-consuming changes. At first, David chalked it up to bad luck or simple mistakes. But over time, the pattern became too clear to ignore. Mark wasn't just careless, he was subtly sabotaging David's progress. Why do some people engage in hidden sabotage? The roots often lie in deep-seated insecurities, jealousy, or unresolved personal struggles. 1. Envy and insecurity. People who measure their self-worth by comparing themselves to others may feel threatened by someone else's success. Instead of improving themselves, they choose to bring others down. 2. Fear of being left behind. A colleague, friend, or even family member might fear being overshadowed. Instead of celebrating your growth, they subtly work against you to maintain their perceived status. 3. Ego and competition. Some individuals are overly competitive. They see success as a zero-sum game. If you win, they must lose. This mindset drives them to subtly sabotage others instead of striving for mutual growth. 4. Lack of self-awareness. In some cases, the saboteur might not even be fully conscious of their actions. Their behavior stems from ingrained patterns of jealousy and self-preservation. From a Buddhist perspective, hidden sabotage is a reflection of suffering. Those who engage in such actions are trapped in a cycle of attachment, comparison, and ego-driven desires. They are unable to find inner peace because their happiness is contingent upon others' failures. 1. The root of envy. Buddhism teaches that envy arises from attachment to comparison. When we constantly measure our worth against others, we invite suffering into our lives. The saboteur, rather than focusing on self-improvement, fixates on another's progress, which only deepens their dissatisfaction. 2. The illusion of control. People who sabotage others often do so because they believe they must control external circumstances to maintain their own sense of importance. However, Buddhism teaches that true control comes from within, through self awareness and detachment from ego. 3. Breaking the cycle. The only way out of this cycle of envy and sabotage is through self awareness and mindfulness. Recognizing our own attachments and insecurities allows us to dissolve harmful patterns and cultivate compassion. How to protect yourself from hidden sabotage. 1. Be mindful of patterns. Pay attention to repeated patterns of behavior. If someone consistently forgets to inform you about important matters or gives misleading advice, consider the possibility of hidden sabotage. 2. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, trust your intuition. Sometimes we dismiss our gut feelings because we want to believe the best in people. However, repeated inconsistencies should not be ignored. 3. Limit dependence on such individuals. If you suspect someone is sabotaging you, reduce how much you rely on them. Seek multiple sources of information and advice rather than depending on a single person. 4. Keep clear records. In professional settings, document important conversations, emails, and agreements. Having a record can protect you from potential manipulations. 5. Surround yourself with supportive people. Build a network of genuinely supportive friends, colleagues, and mentors. Positive influences help counteract the negativity of saboteurs. 6. Practice compassion, but set boundaries. Understanding that a saboteur's actions stem from their own suffering can help you cultivate compassion. However, compassion does not mean tolerating harmful behavior. Setting firm boundaries is essential. 7. Respond, don't react. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, respond strategically. Address issues professionally and, if necessary, distance yourself from toxic individuals. Buddhism offers practical wisdom for handling sabotage with grace. 1. Detach from ego. Your success is not diminished by someone else's envy. Recognizing this helps you stay centered and avoid being emotionally affected by others' negativity. 2. Cultivate equanimity. Equanimity, remaining calm and balanced amid difficulties, prevents external negativity from disturbing your inner peace. 3. Focus on inner growth. Instead of being distracted by saboteurs, focus on your own development. The best response to hidden sabotage is continued progress. 4. Extend loving kindness. Buddhism encourages the practice of metta, loving kindness meditation, toward all beings, even those who wrong us. This practice helps dissolve resentment and fosters inner peace. Hidden sabotage is a silent yet powerful form of opposition that can hinder progress if left unchecked. By recognizing the signs, setting boundaries, and applying Buddhist wisdom, you can protect yourself while maintaining inner peace. Ultimately, those who sabotage others are fighting an internal battle with their own insecurities. Their suffering is self-imposed, and their only path to liberation is through self-awareness and detachment from ego-driven desires. Your journey is yours alone. Stay mindful, trust your instincts, and continue striving for growth with wisdom and compassion. Sign number 3, silent competition. The need to outshine success is often seen as a personal achievement, a milestone that brings joy and fulfillment. However, in many social settings, success can also become a trigger for competition, sometimes silent, sometimes overt. This unspoken rivalry, where individuals feel the need to outshine others instead of celebrating their success, is a deeply rooted phenomenon in human nature. Some people struggle to see others excel without immediately feeling the urge to surpass them. This subtle but pervasive behavior is known as silent competition. While a certain level of competition can be motivating, silent competition often stems from insecurity and a fragile sense of self-worth. It prevents genuine relationships from flourishing and fosters an environment where validation is sought externally rather than internally. Understanding this behavior, its psychological roots, and how to respond to it is crucial for personal growth and healthy social interactions. Silent competition is not always overtly hostile or aggressive. Unlike open rivalry, which is marked by clear challenges and confrontations, silent competition operates under the guise of normal conversation and everyday interactions. Here are some common signs. Constant comparison. Some people measure their worth by comparing themselves to others. If they perceive someone as more successful, they feel an immediate need to prove their superiority in some way. Diminishing achievements. Instead of celebrating your success, They downplay it, making comments that trivialize or minimize your accomplishments. Redirecting focus. When you share good news, they quickly shift the conversation back to themselves, ensuring they remain the center of attention. One-upping. Every time you share a success, they feel compelled to share a bigger, better, or more impressive achievement of their own. Passive-aggressive behavior. Sometimes silent competitors use sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or subtle jabs to undercut others' achievements. Imagine Sarah, who just received a promotion at work. Excited to share the news, she tells her friend Jake. Instead of congratulating her, Jake responds, "Oh, that's nice. But my job actually gives much bigger bonuses." Every time Sarah shares good news, Jake feels the need to top it with a superior achievement of his own. This pattern of behavior illustrates how some individuals struggle to share in others' happiness without feeling threatened by it. Instead of fostering a supportive and uplifting friendship, this kind of silent competition creates an underlying tension that makes it difficult to celebrate personal achievements openly. Silent competition often stems from deep-seated psychological factors, including insecurity and low self-esteem. People who engage in silent competition often struggle with their self-worth. They feel the need to prove themselves because they are not confident in their own value. Scarcity mindset. Some individuals view success as a limited resource. They believe that if someone else is succeeding, it somehow diminishes their own chances of achieving success. External validation. When people rely on external validation to feel good about themselves, they seek constant reassurance that they are superior or at least on par with others. Social conditioning. In many cultures, people are raised to compete rather than collaborate. Success is often framed as a zero-sum game, where one person's victory means another person's loss. Fear of being left behind. As people see others progressing in life, they may fear being outpaced. This fear can trigger an instinct to compete rather than celebrate. In Buddhism, the antidote to jealousy and competition is mudita, or sympathetic joy, the ability to genuinely rejoice in the happiness and success of others. Instead of feeling threatened by another person's achievements, mudita encourages us to cultivate a mindset of abundance and interconnectedness. According to Buddhist teachings, those who constantly compete in silence suffer from attachment to external validation. They place their self-worth in comparison to others, which leads to suffering. The practice of mudita allows us to break free from this cycle and experience true contentment. If you notice someone engaging in silent competition with you, there are several ways to handle the situation. Pay attention to patterns. Observe how they react when you share your successes. Do they genuinely congratulate you, or do they immediately try to outshine you? Maintain humility and gratitude. Stay grounded in your achievements without feeling the need to prove anything. Confidence does not require comparison. Surround yourself with supportive people. Choose to spend time with people who celebrate your victories and encourage you without feeling threatened. Practice mudita. Make an effort to feel happy for others when they succeed. This will help create a cycle of positive energy rather than competition. Set boundaries. If someone constantly diminishes your achievements or redirects conversations to themselves, it may be helpful to limit the extent to which you share personal successes with them. Encourage a mindset shift. If appropriate, help them see that success is not a zero-sum game. Acknowledge their achievements as well and encourage mutual celebration. If you recognize silent competition in yourself, it's important to address the underlying emotions driving this behavior. Here are some steps to cultivate a healthier mindset. Develop self-awareness. Acknowledge when you feel competitive and examine why. Is it coming from insecurity or fear? Shift focus to collaboration. See others' successes as inspiration rather than threats. Success is not a finite resource. Celebrate others' achievements. Make a habit of genuinely congratulating others and recognizing their efforts. Practice gratitude. Focus on your own journey rather than comparing yourself to others. Recognize your own achievements without needing validation from others. Meditate on mudita. Spend time reflecting on how you can cultivate joy for others' success, reinforcing an abundance mindset. Silent competition is a subtle but damaging social dynamic that prevents people from forming authentic relationships and enjoying personal success. It arises from insecurity, social conditioning, and a scarcity mindset. However, by practicing mudita, sympathetic joy, we can break free from this cycle and create an environment where everyone can thrive. Success should not be about outshining others, but about personal growth and fulfillment. By embracing a mindset of mutual celebration, we not only strengthen our relationships, but also cultivate inner peace and happiness. The true measure of success is not in how we compare to others, but in how we grow as individuals and uplift those around us. Sign number 4, superficial support, words without action. In life, we often encounter people who express support with words, but fail to back them up with meaningful actions. They might say they're proud of us, but when the time comes to truly show up, they are nowhere to be found. Their enthusiasm feels forced, their praise lacks warmth, and their promises remain unfulfilled. Superficial support can be confusing and at times even painful. It raises doubts about the sincerity of relationships and leaves us questioning whether someone truly has our best interests at heart. The key to understanding this phenomenon is learning to recognize the subtle signs of performative support and understanding how to cultivate relationships with people who genuinely care. Superficial support often comes in subtle forms. It is not always outright deception, but rather a lack of depth and commitment. Here are some common signs. 1. Inconsistent behavior. They express excitement about your achievements, but don't follow through with action. They offer encouragement in private, but never advocate for you in public. 2. Minimal effort. They may offer words of encouragement, but avoid any real involvement. They don't ask about your progress unless prompted. 3. Lack of enthusiasm. Their praise sounds rehearsed or obligatory. They respond to your good news with indifference or quick subject changes. 4. No emotional investment. They don't seem genuinely interested in your journey. Their body language or tone doesn't match their words of encouragement. 5. Unfulfilled promises. They offer to help but never actually do. They make plans to support you but frequently cancel or come up with excuses. Michael, an aspiring entrepreneur, was always excited to share his achievements with his friend Ryan. Whenever Michael talked about a new business milestone, Ryan would say, "That's amazing, man. I'm so happy for you." However, Michael began to notice a pattern. Despite Ryan's kind words, he never attended Michael's networking events, never shared his business promotions, and never asked questions about how things were going. Whenever Michael invited him to a product launch, Ryan would always have a reason not to come. Over time, Michael realized that Ryan's support was purely verbal. There was no genuine investment in their friendship or Michael's success. This realization was disappointing, but it helped Michael understand the difference between true support and performative encouragement. Buddhism teaches that true support comes from an open heart and a place of sincerity. Superficial encouragement, given without action, is empty and often self-serving. People who offer only words of support may be seeking social validation, avoiding conflict, or maintaining an image of being kind and supportive without actually committing to the responsibility of being there for others. In the Noble Eightfold Path, 2 key principles apply to this topic. Right speech, samavaka, speaking truthfully, kindly, and with sincerity. True encouragement comes from a place of genuine care, not from obligation or appearance. Right action, samakamanta, aligning one's actions with moral integrity. Support should not be just words, it must be reflected in deeds. A person who follows the Eightfold Path understands that empty words create false expectations and undermine trust. When people offer encouragement without action, they fail to uphold these principles, leading to relationships that lack depth and authenticity. The hidden reasons behind superficial support. It's important to recognize that people who offer superficial support are not necessarily malicious. Their lack of genuine action may stem from various personal limitations. 1. Fear of competition. Some people feel threatened by your success and hesitate to offer real support because they don't want you to surpass them. 2. Social pressure. They say what they think they should say rather than what they actually feel. 3. Lack of emotional capacity. Some individuals are not capable of offering deep emotional support, either due to their own struggles or a lack of emotional awareness. 4. Self-centeredness. They focus on maintaining their own image rather than truly helping others. Understanding these underlying reasons can help you develop compassion while also setting healthy boundaries. What to do when you encounter superficial support. 1. Notice the gap between words and actions. Pay attention to patterns in behavior. Ask yourself, does this person consistently follow through on their words? 2. Stop expecting support from the wrong people. Once you recognize that someone's support is merely performative, adjust your expectations. Let go of frustration and focus your energy elsewhere. 3. Seek support from those who truly celebrate you. Surround yourself with people who actively show their support. Look for actions. Who shows up? Who helps when you need it? Who genuinely celebrates your wins? 4. Express gratitude to those who truly support you. Strengthen your bond with genuine supporters by appreciating their presence in your life. Gratitude deepens meaningful relationships. 5. Set boundaries with performative supporters. You don't need to cut them off completely, but don't depend on them for meaningful encouragement. Interact with them accordingly without expecting more than they are willing to give. Turning insight into action, practicing true support. If we wish to receive genuine support, we must also offer it to others. Ask yourself, do my words align with my actions? When I say I support someone, do I actually show up? Am I celebrating others genuinely? Do I feel happy for others' success? Or do I secretly feel envious? Am I making an effort in my relationships? Do I show up for people I care about, even when it's inconvenient? By embodying true support, we attract the same kind of energy into our lives. Superficial support is easy to recognize once we become more mindful of words versus actions. Not everyone who congratulates us is truly in our corner, and that's okay. What matters is learning to differentiate between performative encouragement and genuine support, so we can invest in relationships that are based on authenticity and mutual care. Buddhism reminds us that true support comes from an open heart, and when we cultivate that within ourselves, we naturally attract others who do the same. Instead of feeling disappointed by those who offer only empty words, we can shift our focus toward those who genuinely show up. Sign number 5, control disguised as concern, recognizing and overcoming hidden manipulation. Have you ever felt like someone in your life was making decisions for you, not because they respected your needs, but because they claimed to care about you? This phenomenon, control disguised as concern, is a subtle yet powerful form of manipulation. It often comes from people who are close to us, parents, partners, friends, or even mentors. While it may seem like they have good intentions, their real motive is often to maintain influence over your choices, sometimes at the cost of your personal growth and independence. In this article, we will explore how this type of control manifests, its psychological and emotional impact, and the wisdom from Buddhist teachings that can help us navigate such relationships with clarity and peace. Control disguised as concern can take many forms, but some common signs include 1. Frequent criticism, disguised as advice. You often hear statements like, "I'm just telling you this for your own good," or "You need to listen to me because I know what's best for you." While constructive criticism is normal, continuous unsolicited advice can indicate an attempt to undermine your confidence and enforce dependence. 2. Making you feel incapable. They imply that without their guidance, you wouldn't be able to make good choices. Statements like, "I worry about what might happen if you try this on your own," or "Are you sure you can handle this?" subtly plant seeds of self-doubt. 3. Subtle undermining of confidence. They question your decisions excessively or highlight worst-case scenarios to make you second-guess yourself. They may remind you of past mistakes to justify why you need their guidance. 4. Emotional guilt tripping. They use guilt as a tool, saying things like, "If you really cared about me, you would take my advice." They frame their control as an act of love, making it harder for you to challenge it without feeling selfish. 5. Creating dependency instead of empowerment. Instead of teaching you how to solve problems independently, they position themselves as the only reliable source of wisdom. They may discourage you from seeking advice elsewhere, that is fostering an unhealthy reliance on them. Linda had always dreamed of starting her own business, but her mother constantly discouraged her. "It's too risky. You're better off with a stable job," she would say. Whenever Linda tried to assert her independence, her mother reminded her of past failures, making her doubt her capabilities. Over time, Linda became hesitant to make decisions without her mother's approval. What seemed like motherly concern was actually a way of maintaining control over Linda's life. Linda's situation is not uncommon. Many people struggle with well-meaning but overbearing family members, partners, or friends who intentionally or unintentionally hinder their growth. From a Buddhist viewpoint, control is rooted in fear and attachment. Those who seek to control others often do so out of their own anxieties, fear of change, fear of losing importance, or fear of the unknown. Impermanence, anicca, everything is constantly changing. Trying to control others is an attempt to resist this natural flow, which leads to suffering. Non-self, anatta, we do not own or possess others. Every individual has their own path and their own lessons to learn. Letting go, vairagya. True love and concern mean allowing others to make their own choices, even if they make mistakes. Only through experience can growth occur. A Buddhist approach to control disguised as concern would be to recognize its roots in fear and respond with mindfulness and compassion, both for ourselves and for those trying to control us. Living under such disguised control can have long-term emotional consequences, including low self-confidence. Constant doubt in your own decisions can erode self-esteem. Chronic anxiety. Always seeking approval from others creates stress and uncertainty. Guilt and resentment. Feeling torn between wanting independence and not wanting to disappoint a loved one. Loss of identity. Over time, you may feel like you're living someone else's life rather than your own. Recognizing these effects is the first step toward reclaiming your autonomy. What you can do. Setting boundaries with compassion. If you identify with this struggle, here are practical steps you can take. Recognize manipulation, hidden as concern. Be mindful of how certain interactions make you feel. If someone's concern leaves you feeling doubtful and powerless, it may be disguised control. Acknowledge their fears without absorbing them. Understand that their control likely stems from their own insecurities. You can acknowledge their concerns without letting them dictate your choices. Respond with something like, I understand you're worried, but I need to make this decision for myself. Set clear and firm boundaries. Define what kind of input you are open to and communicate it assertively. Example, I appreciate your advice, but I need to trust my own judgment on this. Develop inner confidence. Build self-trust by making small, independent decisions and learning from them. Meditation and mindfulness can help cultivate inner strength and clarity. Seek support from non-controlling influences. Surround yourself with people who empower rather than control you. If needed, seek professional counseling to navigate complex emotional entanglements. Detach with compassion. Detachment doesn't mean cutting people off, but rather refusing to let their fears control your life. A mindful response to controlling behavior is to acknowledge it without resisting or reacting emotionally. Control disguised as concern is a subtle but significant challenge that can keep us from living authentically. Recognizing it and addressing it with wisdom allows us to cultivate true peace, both within ourselves and in our relationships. Buddhism teaches us that real care is not about controlling others, but about trusting their path. True compassion allows space for growth, even when it means letting go. By setting healthy boundaries and embracing our own autonomy, we honor not only our journey, but also the natural flow of life itself. The next time someone offers concern in a way that makes you feel smaller rather than stronger, take a step back and ask yourself, is this genuine care, or is it fear wearing the mask of love? Your answer will guide you toward the freedom and peace you deserve. Sign number 6, gossip and backstabbing, the whispered betrayal. Gossip and backstabbing are among the most common forms of indirect betrayal. Unlike direct confrontation, these actions are often carried out in secrecy, making them more insidious and damaging. When people secretly dislike you but lack the courage to confront you directly, they may choose to undermine you behind your back. Gossip allows them to express their resentment, jealousy, or insecurities without facing accountability. Why do people gossip? The urge to share information about others is deeply ingrained in human nature. In ancient times, gossip played a crucial role in social bonding and survival by spreading information about who could be trusted. However, in modern society, gossip is often used as a tool for manipulation, exclusion, and self-promotion. People gossip for various reasons. Insecurity. Gossipers often feel inadequate and attempt to elevate themselves by tearing others down. Jealousy. Someone who envies your success, relationships, or personality may spread rumors to diminish your reputation. Desire for social status. Being the one who knows the latest makes a person feel important and included in social circles. Boredom. Some individuals gossip simply because they have nothing else to talk about. Resentment. Someone who harbors a grudge against you may use gossip to seek revenge indirectly. Understanding these motivations can help us depersonalize gossip and respond with wisdom rather than emotional distress. The impact of gossip and backstabbing. Personal and professional consequences. The effects of gossip can be far-reaching, especially in workplaces, friendships, and social circles. Workplace toxicity. In professional settings, gossip can damage reputations, lower morale, and create an atmosphere of distrust. Colleagues may distance themselves, fearing association with the target of gossip. Friendship betrayal. Finding out that a close friend has spoken negatively about you behind your back can be deeply painful. It erodes trust and leaves emotional scars. Social isolation. Persistent gossip can lead to exclusion from social groups, affecting one's self-esteem and mental health. Rachel, a dedicated and competent employee, noticed that her colleagues were becoming distant. Conversations would halt when she entered the room, and her suggestions were met with dismissive looks. Confused and hurt, she later discovered that her supposed friend, Linda, had been subtly undermining her by spreading half-truths about her work ethic and personality. The betrayal stung deeply, but it also opened Rachel's eyes to the hidden toxicity in her workplace. Buddhism teaches that those who engage in gossip are often trapped in their own suffering. They seek validation through the misfortune of others, unknowingly accumulating negative karma. The act of speaking ill of others creates discord and invites similar treatment upon oneself. Gossiping generates negative energy that inevitably returns to the speaker. In Buddhism, this aligns with the law of karma. What you put into the world, you will eventually receive. Those who engage in backstabbing often find themselves surrounded by others who do the same to them. Buddhism emphasizes right speech, one of the steps in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech encourages speaking truthfully, avoiding lies and deceit, speaking kindly, refraining from hurtful or harsh words, speaking beneficially, ensuring that words bring value rather than harm, speaking at the right time, choosing moments when words can heal rather than wound. When someone speaks ill of us, the Buddhist approach is not retaliation, but understanding. The gossipers are suffering from their own inner turmoil, and their words reflect their personal struggles rather than our true character. What to do when you are the target of gossip. 1. Observe without reacting emotionally. The first step is to remain composed. Emotional reactions often fuel gossip further. Instead, take a step back and analyze the situation objectively. Who is spreading the rumors? What is their possible motivation? How is it affecting your relationships and reputation? By assessing the situation calmly, you can respond wisely rather than react impulsively. 2. Address the person directly, if safe to do so. If you feel comfortable, confronting the gossiper in a respectful manner can sometimes resolve the issue. Choose a private setting and communicate assertively without aggression. Example, Linda, I've noticed some tension between us, and I've heard that certain things have been said about me. If there's an issue, I'd prefer we discuss it directly. I value honesty and open communication. This approach puts the gossiper on the spot without escalating the situation. Sometimes they may deny it, but in many cases, the mere act of addressing it discourages further gossip. 3. Set clear boundaries. If someone repeatedly engages in gossip, it may be necessary to distance yourself. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, rather than those who bring negativity into your life. Ways to set boundaries. Politely change the subject when gossip arises. Limit the amount of personal information you share with known gossipers. Spend time with individuals who encourage positivity and integrity. 4. Protect your reputation through actions. In professional and social settings, your actions will always speak louder than rumors. Consistently demonstrating kindness, competence, and integrity will overshadow any false narratives others attempt to create. 5. Seek support, but avoid spreading more negativity. It's natural to feel hurt by betrayal, but be mindful of how you process it. Talk to a trusted friend or mentor for perspective, but avoid retaliating with gossip of your own. Engaging in similar behavior only perpetuates the cycle. From 6, cultivate detachment. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Learning to detach from others' opinions is a key aspect of inner peace. Buddhist teachings remind us that external validation is fleeting, and true self worth comes from within. The less power you give to gossip, the less it can affect you. Gossip and backstabbing are painful experiences, but they also serve as valuable lessons in self awareness, boundaries, and resilience. When faced with betrayal, we can either sink into negativity or rise above it with wisdom and dignity. By practicing mindfulness, setting clear boundaries, and focusing on our personal growth, we can navigate these challenges while maintaining inner peace. As the Buddha taught, do not speak unless it improves upon silence. In choosing our words and responses wisely, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and create a life rooted in authenticity and peace. Sign number 7, joylessness in your success, the lack of genuine happiness. Success is often seen as a moment of triumph, a time to celebrate personal achievements and milestones. However, what happens when you share your joy only to be met with lukewarm reactions, indifference, or even outright dismissal? This phenomenon, joylessness in the face of success, can be deeply disheartening and revealing. It exposes hidden resentments, unspoken envy, and the fragile nature of some relationships. More importantly, it provides an opportunity for introspection and spiritual growth. People who genuinely care about you will celebrate your victories. They will cheer for your accomplishments, uplift you when you reach new heights, and share in your happiness. On the other hand, those who harbor envy or unresolved insecurities may respond in subtle yet telling ways. Signs of hidden negativity, downplaying your achievements. Instead of acknowledging your hard work, they may say, "It's not a big deal," or "Anyone could have done that." Indifference. They might react with a simple, unemotional response, such as, "Oh, that's nice," and quickly change the subject. Shifting the focus. Instead of engaging in your happiness, they may immediately redirect the conversation to their own struggles or successes. Passive-aggressive remarks. Comments like, "Must be nice to have that kind of luck," or "I wish things were that easy for me," indicate resentment masked as humor. Silence or avoidance. They might not acknowledge your success at all, refusing to comment or celebrate with you. Emma was ecstatic about her recent engagement and couldn't wait to share the news with her best friend, Mia. However, when she told Mia, the response was a flat, forced, "Oh, that's nice." Mia then immediately changed the subject, acting as if the engagement was just another mundane piece of news. Emma felt a pang of disappointment. This wasn't the reaction she had expected from someone she considered a close friend. Over time, she noticed a pattern. Whenever Emma succeeded, Mia seemed distant and uninterested. This realization made Emma question the depth of their friendship. This behavior often stems from deep-seated emotional struggles. While some may consciously resent others' successes, many are unaware that they are projecting their own insecurities. Common psychological causes: envy and comparison. Social comparison is a natural human tendency, but in excess, it breeds discontent. When people measure their self-worth against others' achievements, they may struggle to feel happy for others. Scarcity mindset. Those who believe success is limited, as if life were a zero-sum game, often feel threatened by others' accomplishments. They fear that someone else's gain means their own loss. Low self-esteem. People with self-doubt often perceive others' success as a reminder of their own perceived failures. Unresolved personal struggles. Someone going through a difficult phase in life might find it hard to celebrate another's happiness when they are battling their own challenges. In Buddhism, one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, sublime states, is mudita, which means sympathetic joy or finding happiness in the joy of others. The Buddha emphasized that cultivating mudita is essential for inner peace and overcoming envy. Understanding mudita, true happiness is shared. When we are genuinely happy for others, we create an abundance of joy rather than scarcity. Letting go of the ego. Joylessness often arises from ego-driven attachments to status and comparison. Practicing mudita allows us to let go of these attachments. Breaking the cycle of suffering, envy and resentment keep individuals trapped in a cycle of suffering. Learning to rejoice in others' success is a path to liberation. How to cultivate mudita, mindfulness practice. Observe your feelings when others succeed. If envy arises, acknowledge it and gently shift your focus towards joy. Affirmations. Repeat positive affirmations such as, may they continue to be happy and successful to rewire negative thought patterns. Expressing gratitude. Focus on your own blessings rather than what others have achieved. Meditation on joy. Engage in loving kindness meditation, focusing specifically on generating joy for others. How to respond to joylessness in others. If you encounter people who seem unable to celebrate your success, it's essential to navigate the situation with wisdom and compassion. What you can do. Observe and assess. Is this a one-time reaction or a pattern? If it's consistent, you may need to reconsider the nature of your relationship. Limit energy drainers. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you rather than those who diminish your joy. Practice compassion. Instead of resenting their response, recognize that their reaction is likely rooted in their own struggles. Set boundaries. If someone's negativity consistently affects you, it may be necessary to create emotional distance. Example response. If a friend downplays your success, you can say, I was really excited to share this with you. Your reaction feels a bit distant. Are you okay? This opens the door for honest communication while maintaining emotional awareness. Personal reflection. Are you also joyless in others' success? While it's easy to notice joylessness in others, it's equally important to reflect on our own reactions. Have you ever felt envious when someone else succeeded? Have you ever dismissed someone's joy because of your own struggles? Questions for self-reflection. Do I genuinely celebrate others' success, or do I feel uncomfortable? When I see someone achieving something I want, do I feel inspired or resentful? How do I express joy for others in my daily life? What practices can I adopt to cultivate more mudita? Joylessness in the face of success is a revealing indicator of both personal and interpersonal dynamics. It highlights hidden insecurities, unresolved emotions, and the varying capacities of people to express happiness for others. However, rather than allowing it to diminish your happiness, view it as an opportunity for spiritual and emotional growth. By cultivating mudita, practicing mindfulness, and surrounding yourself with genuine supporters, you can create a life filled with authentic joy, both for yourself and for those around you. Remember, success is not just about personal achievement, it's about how we share our joy with others and how open we are to celebrating the success of those around us. True happiness grows when it is shared, not hoarded. Sign number 8, nonverbal clues. What the body reveals. Words can be misleading, but body language is an unfiltered window into a person's true emotions. No matter how well someone tries to conceal their feelings, their subconscious body movements often reveal the truth. Understanding nonverbal cues can help you navigate relationships more effectively, whether in personal or professional settings. Why body language matters? Nonverbal communication is a fundamental part of human interaction. Studies suggest that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal, with body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions conveying more meaning than words alone. While someone might verbally express support or friendliness, their body may be telling a completely different story. When someone harbors negative feelings, whether resentment, jealousy, or discomfort, their body will often betray them, offering subtle clues that reveal their true emotional state. Learning to interpret these signs can provide invaluable insights into social interactions. If you suspect that someone may not genuinely like you, their body language will often provide confirmation. Here are some common nonverbal indicators that can reveal hidden emotions. 1. Avoiding eye contact. When someone avoids looking directly into your eyes, especially when discussing something meaningful, it can indicate discomfort, disinterest, or even dishonesty. People who like and respect you will typically maintain steady eye contact as a sign of engagement and sincerity. Example: when Sarah spoke passionately about her latest project, she noticed that her friend Emma kept looking away or shifting her gaze to her phone. This behavior made Sarah feel that Emma wasn't genuinely interested in what she had to say. 2. Forced or insincere smiles. A genuine smile involves the entire face, particularly the eyes. A forced smile, on the other hand, typically engages only the mouth while leaving the eyes emotionless. This type of smile is often used to mask underlying emotions such as irritation, boredom, or resentment. Example: Every time Alex shared good news, his coworker Dan's face tensed for a split second before forcing a smile. While Dan never said anything negative outright, his body language spoke volumes. 3. Crossed arms and defensive posture. When a person crosses their arms during a conversation, it can indicate a closed-off or defensive attitude. While some people cross their arms out of habit or comfort, doing so in a tense conversation can suggest resistance or discomfort. Example: during a meeting, Lisa noticed that her boss, Mr. Carter, always crossed his arms and leaned away whenever she presented her ideas. Despite his neutral words, his posture made her feel unheard and unappreciated. Number 4. Microexpressions of annoyance or frustration. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal true emotions. These expressions can appear for a fraction of a second before a person masks their feelings. Example: when Jake told his friend Brian about his recent promotion, he noticed a fleeting moment where Brian's eyebrows furrowed and his lips tightened before he quickly put on a congratulatory smile. This subtle reaction hinted at underlying jealousy. Number 5. Increased physical distance. If someone consistently keeps their distance or steps back when you approach, it may indicate discomfort or a desire to create emotional space. People naturally lean in when they feel connected and engaged. Example: whenever Emily entered the break room, her coworker Mark would subtly move a step away or turn his body slightly away. This repeated behavior suggested that Mark wasn't comfortable being around her. 6. Lack of mirroring. Mirroring is a subconscious behavior where people imitate each other's gestures, tone, or posture when they feel a connection. If someone never mirrors your movements or voice patterns, it could indicate emotional distance. Example: while chatting with a group, Rachel noticed that her colleague Lily never mirrored her mannerisms, even though others did. This lack of synchronization suggested that Lily wasn't fully engaged or comfortable in their interaction. Buddhism teaches that the mind and body are deeply connected, and that true emotions cannot be entirely hidden. The unconscious mind always reveals the truth, even when words attempt to deceive. This is why monks and meditation practitioners often emphasize observing people's energy rather than just their words. Lessons from mindfulness and Buddhism. Energy never lies. While words can be manipulated, energy and body language reflect a person's true feelings. Detachment from false connections. Recognizing inauthentic relationships allows you to focus on those that bring peace and positivity. Cultivating awareness. Being present in the moment enables you to perceive subtle shifts in energy and behavior more clearly. Once you identify nonverbal cues that suggest discomfort, resentment, or dishonesty, the next step is deciding how to respond. Here are some practical approaches. 1. Trust your instincts. If someone's energy consistently feels off, don't ignore your intuition. The body rarely lies, and repeated patterns of discomfort indicate that something deeper is at play. 2. Observe patterns. Over time. One isolated instance of defensive body language doesn't necessarily mean someone dislikes you. However, if these behaviors appear repeatedly in various situations, they likely reflect true feelings. 3. Test with positive engagement. If you suspect someone harbors negative feelings, try engaging with them in a warm and open manner. Observe if their body language shifts or remains rigid. If they respond with genuine warmth, their initial cues may have been situational. If their body language remains distant, their discomfort is likely real. 4. Address the issue. If necessary. If the relationship is important, consider addressing the tension directly. Rather than accusing, use open-ended questions like, "I've noticed that you seem a little distant lately. Is everything okay? I value our relationship, and I'd love to understand if something is bothering you." 5. Choose healthy and authentic relationships. Not everyone will be a positive presence in your life. If someone consistently exhibits closed-off or resentful body language, it may be best to distance yourself and focus on connections that uplift and support you. Understanding nonverbal communication is a powerful tool that helps navigate the complexities of human relationships. By recognizing subtle cues, you can better understand the emotions of those around you, leading to deeper and more authentic connections. In a world where words can be manipulated, body language remains an honest reflection of a person's true state of mind. Trust what you see, listen beyond what you hear, and cultivate relationships that align with genuine warmth and sincerity. Your intuition is a powerful inner guide shaped by deep rooted wisdom and past experiences. When someone consistently makes you feel drained, insecure, or unworthy, don't dismiss those feelings. Your mind may rationalize their behavior here, but your intuition rarely misleads you. It speaks in subtle ways through discomfort, unease, or a quiet voice urging you to step back. Learning to trust this inner wisdom is an act of self care and self respect. What to do next? Surround yourself with positivity. Seek relationships that nourish your soul. True friends and supportive loved ones uplift you, encourage your growth, and make you feel valued. Pay attention to how people make you feel. Your energy speaks volumes. Let go without guilt. Cutting ties with toxic relationships isn't selfish, it's necessary for your well being. Guilt should not hold you back from protecting your peace. You are not responsible for fixing those who repeatedly drain you. Practice self awareness and mindfulness. Strengthen your connection with your inner self through meditation, mindfulness, and reflection. The more present you are, the easier it becomes to discern who belongs in your life. If this message resonates with you, like, comment, and subscribe to Buddhist Mindfulness. Together, let's cultivate authentic connections and embrace inner peace.